So what we're going to do next here is we're going to take some 10 gauge stranded wire like this. You can get this at your Menards store. And we're going to run it into the circuit breaker from the outside so we can do a shutdown manually if the panels overheat or something goes wrong. Very important safety tip. You have to have a shutoff box. It's just good common sense. So let's get to it. Let's take a closer look at the shutoff box here. This is an improvised shutoff box put together by JW Solar USA. YouTube, check it out. There's probably a video there on how to do it. And the way it's set up is so that you can run your panels in either parallel or series, or even daisy chain multiple panels. I just have 2. And you get up to 4 panels on this system and plug it into the same shutoff box. Okay. So anyway, as you can see, it's a great design, made for multiple panels. I have 2. I can add 2 more. System will handle it. Once again, JW Solar USA on YouTube. Check it out. And he'll have more videos about how to do this sort of thing on his place. Okay, so now that we got this baby wired, we put the protective cover over the switches, which automatically comes with the box, and that's to keep the elements from, you know, getting in there and causing a short circuit. Okay guys, so this is what this bad boy looks like, all wired up. It's going to go back up against the side of my house like it did before. Only it's going to stand taller, which is going to get me more sun. And you can see where it's wired. And this is the panel box that we talked about with the in and the outs, the positive and the negatives. And the 10 gauge wire, which will run directly to my inverter. So now, basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the remaining positive lead, and we're going to stick it right here and plug it into the negative lead. And then we're going to take the other negative lead, or the female end, and stick it into the positive, and that'll leave 2 more ports, 2 more plugs open for another set of panels. And that's a good thing because it's going to put more voltage into my house. Okay guys, so one more quick look at the back of the panel here, and what we're going to do is show you that we got 38.11 operating circuit open circuit volts, and operating at 8.09 amps. And when that comes through after being plugged into an inverter, it's going to run it at about 30.8 volts, which means when these are run in series, that we will be doubling that number on the bottom there, the 30, and it will be around 60. But it can go as high as 70, or even maybe as high as 80, depending on the input of the sun, the direct sunlight that's coming in. And that's good to know, because that's also going to put more power into your house. Okay guys, so what we have here is we have our 2 inputs. We have the female negative, male positive, and we're going to be plugging those into the combiner box here with the shutoff. But before we do that, we're going to hook up a meter to those things and see what kind of voltage we're bringing in before we plug it into the system. Ready? So I got my multimeter ready to hook up here. It's in the off position, and I'm going to run the leads into the proper ports, the positive to the positive, the negative to the negative, and then we're going to turn it on to the second setting here, the V double dash dot, which basically means that's for measuring DC power. So here we go. Plug it in the female. Got the male end. Always make sure you get the positive, positive, and negative, negative. It's a bad thing if you don't. We're going to plug this bad boy in and see what we're producing here on this cloudy day. And it looks like we got 70.2 watts coming in, volts coming in, and that's on a cloudy day from these 2 panels. Not bad, not bad at all. Okay, so we're back here behind the box, and I'm getting ready to plug in my panels to the disconnect. Simply slip the male into the female. You guys know how that works. And vice versa. There we go. We're all hooked up, and we have 2 more ports to feed extra panels in when we add onto the system later. Okay guys, and this is what the end product looks like. As you can see, they're mounted much better than the way I had them before. Much neater, much better looking. It'll add even more storage space behind the actual panels itself, so you know, not eating up so much real estate on my deck, which is kind of small. But really good design by JW Solar USA. Check him out. The inverter that I had before, which was a 500 watt inverter, and I had two 250 watt panels. So you can kind of see the setup, the cooling fan, the in and the out ports there for the positive and negative wiring. And we're going to be replacing that with the bigger unit over here, which, as you can see, is a 1200 watt unit, and that'll allow for another 250 watt panel, or maybe even two on there easily. And this one has a meter so that I could check my stats and see what kind of power I'm bringing in, versus before I was kind of flying blind. Definitely a good piece of equipment, although this one's going to have to go inside. Yep, there's the plug. That just plugs right into your wall, just like the last unit did. On and off switch and all that, and the fuse. And just check out those specs, you know. Definitely a good unit. Came highly recommended by JW Solar. He used the system before and he really liked it. So I'm sure you'll see this unit on his YouTube channel. Dual cooling fans to handle the heat load from the energy coming into your house. Yep, positive and negative, as you can see, right, left, black and red. Very important. So on the right hand side there, you can see the positive terminal, and on the left the negative terminal, and that's where our 10 gauge wire that we wired up to the shutoff box is going to run into. And of course it has a ground, so we're doing pretty good. And there's some specs here on the back. Check that out. It's a grid tie inverter. You're going to need one of those if you want to put power into your house. And just wonderful, wonderful unit.
50 volts?
Yep. Yep, 50 to 88 volts. And that's what we're going to be running. So now what we have here is, you know, the original setup for my 300 watt panel. This one that was on the side that catches the 12 o'clock on sun. Very good. With the disconnect box, also made by JW Solar USA. Look how nicely he did that. He labeled it and everything, which is really good for a guy like me who just is getting into this and doesn't know much. And that's the 300 watt inverter, and we'll be mounting, as you can see, the new one onto this board. We'll do a little changing around of the setup, probably put it below, but then I'll be able to check and see what I'm bringing in for my panels for the first time, thanks to JW Solar USA. Hey guys, so we've got our wires marked positive for positive, the red. Just use red all the time, it's just easier to remember. And then the black, of course, is negative, and then we're going to hook these up right here to the inputs on the inverter, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so I've hooked up the meter here, and you can see we're bringing in 69.8, and that's very good, very good. That means we've got good connection and good power flow through this 10 gauge wire. It's cloudy outside, so we'll do much better on a hotter day, of course. And let's hook this bad boy up. Okay guys, so we're now done with the connection here. Everything's wired up, and we're going to take a look at some things. I'm going to see how that's jumping over there, that green. That means I'm not powered up over here. I've got it still shut off from the wire job. We're going to switch that box on for my 300 watt panel, and there we go. Now we're bringing in some power. There we go. Not bad at all. Okay, as you can see, the grid tie inverters plug directly into the wall there. We're wired for positive to positive, negative to negative. Had some cables with some ends on them already that we pirated from the old system and used for connectors. So that's taken care of. And we're going to swing around here and power this bad boy on and see what comes to life here. The screen will come up. Look at that. Excellent system. Picked out by Johnny Solar, JW Solar USA, YouTube. And that's what we got going on here, guys. So, that's power from the grid.
There, then take $20 and
Okay, so now we're going to switch it off the grid and switch to my panels. Johnny Solar's going to throw the power box on the outside, the shut-off, and we'll see what the sun's bringing us on this cloudy day.
Ready?
Go ahead, Johnny. Bring this bad boy to life. So here we go. Powering up. Ah, not bad. Not bad at all. Check that out. That's what we got going on a cloudy day for my panel system. 21 watts. 0.16 amps coming in, and yeah, 123.7 volts. Not bad for this cloudy day. You can see the indicator there. Yep.
That's how she's pushing down.
Yep, that's positive power coming in. That's what that little lamp is there for. Okay, so we got this thing mounted here on the board. We've moved the original inverter for the 300 watt panel over, mounted the bigger 1200 watt panel inverter down below it. And one of the things that's important is you need to get some rubber bushings. They're like washers or whatever. You can see that one there. It's about a quarter-inch thick. And the reason why you need to mount those is because it leaves this space right back here so the inverter can breathe, because it takes air in and then pumps it out the fan ports here. And that's how this particular system cools. Very, very important. If you just mount that flush against a board, your system's going to overheat, and basically you're going to screw up your inverter, and that's about $800 down the toilet. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to skip buying those rubber bushings or mountings. Probably get them at any hardware store. Menards will have them. So very, very important.